Everybody got a dream. Listen to me. Everybody has a dream, but not everybody got a grind. You are where you are because of how you think. And if you were to change your thinking, you would change your world.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined by the Honorable Dr. Good Doctor, Eric Thomas, the third, the fourth, what is it, the fifth?
I wish it was something.
E.T. the fifth.
Yeah, I wish it was something.
Is in the building along with the Barbados sensation.
What up?
My
what
brother
up?
from another mother, Carl. How you feeling, man?
Oh, good, man. Michigan got 70 degrees this week. We real good.
70 degrees. You gotta love 70. 70 is perfect. 70 is right where you need to be. Let's just jump right into it. The new segment, Am I Tripping Or? And this one it caught me off guard, and Carl had to help me with the name. But am I tripping, or did a Major League Baseball player walk away from a $13 million contract because they told him he couldn't bring his son to work?
13. I just want to make sure you said 13 million.
I think it was $13 million.
$13 million. Yeah. I'm trying to get the name.
Core
real
beliefs.
quick. Adam LaRouche.
Adam LaRouche.
Core beliefs.
Yep. Chicago White Sox.
LaRouche. I don't follow baseball much, but my man turned down a $13 million contract because apparently they had a problem with him bringing his 14-year-old son to work. And man, I'm like, wow, that was it caught me off guard. Now, Carl E and I had an interesting text debate, and you were saying you could see both sides. And I guess for me, I didn't really see both sides because I'm saying, yo, my man not a banker. This is not necessarily you know what I'm saying? Like a corporate job. It's baseball. Kids love baseball. Like baseball is about the kids. It's a million kids at the game. So you say you understand the other side. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm a CEO, and I understand how, having children can impact, the vision or, like the environment, the work environment. You feel me? So for you, you bringing your son, that's your son. You probably love my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have no issues with my man. But the other baseball players, there might be guys, on the team who it may be a distraction for them, in whatever way. I don't know, but I just know that when I worked at Michigan State University, I couldn't bring Jalen to my job with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so is it cool just because it's baseball? You know what I'm saying? Is it cool? It's a job.
But you felt me, there's other kids there. Yeah,
but it's not like what the manager was saying or the owner was saying, yeah, they are there. But he's here every single game, every single day, the entire time. Yeah. And that could serve as a distraction.
Yeah, no, I feel you. But I'm saying baseball players play like 180 games.
Absolutely.
That's like half the year. So, I mean, like, my man, I feel his pain. Like, it ain't like, football, you know what I'm saying? 16 games. Yeah. So you're not necessarily on the, and half of those are at home.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you're training, you go to the crib.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of, with your schedule being that rigorous, if my man want to bring his son on the road and get him a tutor, I mean, I don't see a problem with it. So I commend him. Either way, I think we all commend him.
We commend him 100%
for standing
sure.
by his
But I'm
values.
just saying it's easier for you to say that, and I don't mean you, but it's easier for people who are employees to say something. But the employer has a perspective as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so as the employer, like, wow, yeah, we love you and we love your family and we want your family to be happy, and we don't. You decided to join a profession that's 182 games. Like, you made that choice. Yeah. And you knew that one of the risks that comes with that is being away from home.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So you think all the other professions where people have to get on the road on a regular basis and have to leave their family, now they making good money. And that's one of the luxuries of having one of those type of jobs where you're not at home. When you do go on the road, you probably make a little bit more money than the person that's stationary in most, cases. So I'm just saying, I can see though as a boss saying like, yo, man, we never agreed to that. We never talked about that. We never signed up for that as an organization. And now you just take liberties to have my man in this. Like, you just got him here. Like, we didn't agree to it. We didn't, like, that's not fair. We agreed to your contract. We agreed to your roles, responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like, and so now here you go, just imposing your will on us with your child. So like I said, I would probably do the same thing. I'm not going to lie. Because I took Jalen on the road with me when I traveled.
I'm about to say, FYI,
yeah,
little Trey about to start rolling.
Yeah.
If somebody got a problem with it, say something now.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be trying to play me, talking about, oh, she always got Trey with her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what I'm
Go on
saying?
and tell me right now.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So I took
Let's
Jay
review
with
the
me.
contract.
Right.
I took Jay with me, but I'm just saying it still doesn't mean it might have been a few people. Michigan State, Murray wasn't tripping.
Right.
Murray embraced him. They had people there to help me out. But there were other institutions, let's be real, that weren't happy about it.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, we conducting business. Why is your son here? And I had to say, like, because I want to be in his life.
Yeah.
So there were a few places that had some problems with it. So I didn't say the owner was right or wrong. I just said I could see his perspective.
Yeah. No, for sure. I got
I was
you.
gonna say that's the deepest part for me. Like bump the owner, bump the discussion. Like my man just took a stand that's out of this world.
Yeah.
It wasn't no money. I was just thinking like, yo, what does his son grow up thinking about his dad? Like my man put me on a value that like you're talking about $13 million.
Yeah, he
like,
might want to be president one day.
something. You know what I'm saying? Like
You
the
know what I'm
value
saying?
that his
Pops
dad
turned down
placed
13
on him.
million.
Yeah, you big.
You got to do it big. But
I'm hoping he do it big. I'm hoping he'll turn out to be a little bad little bum. You know what I'm saying? Your father risked 13. But I'm thinking some organization that is into family, they probably about to work with my man.
I'm saying some other team gonna scoop my man.
They about to bring him on.
Yeah.
Some owner that's like his kids been with them since he was a little. He's like, come on, you can come with us, and it's not gonna be any argument. So that's another thing I do want to say to people. Like I think sometimes people don't stand up for what they believe, or they don't stay true to their core values. They compromise because they do feel like if I don't compromise, I'm gonna lose out.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I believe that if you stand up for what you believe, maybe not initially, but at some point, if you make that type of sacrifice for your core values and what you believe, a door is going to open and somebody is going to put you in a position where you can do both. And I think when you look at ETA, I mean, that's the beauty of our company. In many regards, you can do both. Breathe You. I'm looking at stuff in Breathe You that I'm like, yo, I wouldn't necessarily, you know what I'm saying, speak about that or do that.
Right.
But you are in amongst a community that's like, yo, you be you. And we're not going to make you feel bad about being who you are. So yeah, for those of you out there, man, that got some rich core values and stuff you think you need to stick with, don't get so caught up on money and being a slave to all of that. Man, stand up for what you believe and be willing to, you know, put your money where your mouth is and say, it's a real belief to me.
The last piece, I see ready to move on, but last piece is somebody's willing to give my man $13 million.
Yeah.
So that means he's been putting some work in. He got some value somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gonna be all right.
Left-hand pitcher.
Carl can tell when I'm ready to move on.
Oh, yeah, no
I
doubt.
saw it.
Like I didn't even say that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look.
This the 11th. This what Carl, the 11th
No,
episode?
we way past that.
Where
Oh,
we
we
at?
at about 18.
Yeah.
So you feeling him now? Maybe it took about 12.
Carl said last piece because I can see C ready to move on.
Yeah.
And I was. That's crazy. Like, absolutely. And I want to talk about something else and somebody else who stuck by their core values. And I think the information came through the wire yesterday, and E sent it to me on the text, and we both just kind of like, wow. But for those of you who don't know and haven't heard, Giovanni Ruffin just got signed to the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know who Giovanni is, the video, When You Want to Succeed as Bad as You Want to Breathe, the guru story, going out to the beach, meet you there at 4 a.m., that whole speech that Giovanni took and then was working out to, the guy who was actually working out on the beach, to the stuff we talked about, the video that went viral. Obviously, you know, they've been good friends of ours and we've supported him. He supported us on this journey since then. But many people don't know, E, that when Giovanni did that video, he wasn't doing it to be cute. He was actually doing it, you know, because the message inspired him so much, and his ultimate goal of playing in the NFL had fallen short at that time. We're talking about years ago. How many years ago did that come out?
It's so long ago, I don't remember how long ago it was.
Somebody can you find out when that video, when that was uploaded? Yeah, just find out. I just want to know for the date, because, you know, when I heard it, I was like, wow. And to me, it was similar to my man sticking to your core values. My man was like, yo, I'm not stopping. You know what I'm saying? And for real, some people out there, you came up short.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You thought you was gonna blow up. You had a great business idea. You launched all your stuff, and it didn't go like you thought it was supposed to go. And in 6 months, you gave up on it.
Yeah, and went to something else.
Right.
You know
went
what I'm
to
saying?
something else because you said this can't possibly work.
Yeah.
You know, but here's somebody who stuck with it, man, and he got a shot with the Seattle Seahawks, and I saw it come through, man, and I was almost in tears because I was like, wow, what kind of grind is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, my man really put in work for a long time, and I can relate. We can relate as a company. How many years were we putting in work? And I remember, Carl, we used to say, oh, here go the big one. It's like
coming.
Red Fox. It's the big one.
It's always,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm coming.
We thought we was coming, but it never really happened the way we thought it was going to happen. But we stuck to it, and similar to what Giovanni's going through right now, you know, he really just stuck to what he believed, man. And I'm looking at 2011. Okay, cool. So that's 5 years ago that video was put up, that he was talking about that. And so you actually got a chance to, you know, speak with him, not since he got signed, but just when he talked about that grind, and, you know, what did he talk to you about, and what kind of mental fortitude did he have back then?
Well, you know, back then, you know, it was fresh. So he was coming off the video hype. You know what I'm saying? He was coming off the video knowing he was going to the league, you know, because he was putting in work. And he did have so many, you know, programs looking at him because of the video. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't work out. He ended up doing a Canadian ball. That didn't work out, you know. So I'm going to be real with you, see. I just thought, my man, like, that's it. You're going to have to go into, like, you're going to have to be a physical trainer or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to go into something. Like, you're going to have to get something after all of these years of grinding. I'm going to be honest. When I saw it, it was surreal. Like, I couldn't even get emotional. I was just like, is this real? Like, I looked at the video like, what kind of hat is that? You know what I'm saying? I was like, let me call one of my homies who used to play for the Dolphins, who with Seattle now. Let me call one of my homies and see what the deal is, because he just signed a big contract. So let me see if it's real. So I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really believe it, you know, but I'm so excited because...
Not that you didn't believe it like he was lying, just you didn't believe it like
I couldn't
it was,
believe it happened.
Amazing. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it happened after all these years.
Right.
Because for real, it's like with me, like 12 years to get a 4-year degree, like a lot of people don't get it. Not only, like, forget that it took me 12 years, and it's like, I can't believe it took 12 years. Statistically, when you don't do it after 6, like, it don't happen.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, usually if you don't get it in 6 years, you don't get it at all. Usually when you don't go to the NFL maybe a year or two after like your draft possibility, like that's it. Like, you don't wait to 4 years because it's fresh new kids coming in every year. So this is amazing because after 5 years, he actually elevated his grind. I saw him the other day lifting weights. He was lifting weights in the ocean. I'm like, he in the ocean lifting weights. Then he had the weights in the sand, and he was running out of the sand with the weights and running in, doing like a 50 to 100 meter dash with weights on his body. So I was like, and so that's what blew my mind. I saw that video earlier, and then I saw him retweet. He was with Seattle, and I was like, yo, he was on the beach, but he even took his beach performance to a whole other level. And most of y'all, it's the opposite. The further you get away from your goal, the more you quit and give up. So the more bleak it looks, the more he grinded. For you, the more bleak it looks, the less hope you have, the less grind you have, the less commitment you have. So
drop the mic.
Yeah,
drop the mic.
It's crazy.
This podcast was brought to you by...
Where you going from there?
Lord have mercy. I mean, for real, you just said it, man. Like, for real, it is really, it's just that. You know what I mean? It's just that. And you look at the work ethic and how it paid off. You know what I mean? And I
you just think about athletes, though. I'm just saying, like, our grind is a grind. Like, you get up early out of, but you're an athlete. Like, you beating your body up day in and day out.
He hitting Chipotle 3-4 times a day. A ball.
You know what I'm saying?
So I feel you, Carl. It's a grind.
You know what I'm saying? But for me, Carl, I'm like Giovanni, though. My hope with each bowl, my hope grows stronger.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
I get that much more energy and fired up.
You definitely want that bowl as bad
I got
as you
to
want
get that bowl.
Yeah, man. So shout out to him, man. You know, prayers with you.
Yeah.
You know, all the blessings with you, man. Hopefully he makes the final roster. But for those of you out there, man, who know what we're talking about and the guy we're talking about, man. Just big ups to him. And like I said, just a good dude, class act. And you like to see good things happen to good people.
You do.
So, yeah, shout out for that. I want to talk about something else. Carl, I didn't know if you felt me. I was ready to go somewhere else. Okay, all right, cool.
I thought somebody was about to go get me a Chipotle bowl.
Yeah, no.
You know the way we had beefed it up.
Where's Black at? Hey, shout out to Black, Young Black, ETA Young Black for the Gazelle Juice. He blessed everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Everybody.
But I did want to talk about, man, I was tripping. So Curry goes down in the first game. Now the West Coast games are too late for me to stay up.
Wow.
So Curry goes down
Yeah.
in the first game. I guess he rolled his ankle or something, right? So I'm like, wow. Okay, Golden State in trouble. My man hit 400 and something threes throughout the regular season,
bro.
putting up 40, 50 points a game. I'm saying, okay, Golden State in trouble now. Like, you done lost your best player.
Yeah.
Not only your best player, the best player in the league right now. You lost him, and they came out and still got the dub in game 2.
Still got the dub.
Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Carl, I know you saw it.
Yeah.
Boy, Clay act like ain't none changed.
None
Right.
changed.
Yeah,
Right.
none changed.
And I guess for me, guys, I'm looking like, yo, when we talk about building a team,
Yeah, that's it.
you know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. Yeah.
Like it's been Curry.
Yeah,
I mean,
Curry.
all you heard every
Curry.
single day
Curry.
is Curry. And in the playoffs, in the first round, they faced some major adversity. And my man, he didn't play a half, a quarter. My man was in a suit the entire game, and Golden State still got the dub.
But watch, he
That's
still
like
plays,
us
though.
going to a conference.
Yeah.
He getting sick and can't come. Me, Carl, LaShawn Tate, Maul, Black, like we just gotta rock out
And murder it.
and we
murder
come
it.
out with the win.
Yeah.
Woo! Like, yo, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And I believe we talked about that earlier in one of the podcasts where we talked about Draymond and the role he plays. And that's why you have to build that team around you. And you gotta understand that you had a video not that long ago, no man is an island.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was just looking at that going, wow, like, yo, the Warriors ain't no joke. Like, that's a squad right there. You know what I mean? They straight took the Rockets out. And I know Rockets is the 8th seed, but they still in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They still got Harden.
James Harden.
You got Dwight Howard.
Howard, yeah.
You know, and they took them boys out. And I'm like, wow. So I don't know how long he's going to be out, but I don't know what your takeaways was from it, but I was bugging,
I'm
man.
gonna say this was one of my biggest takeaways is that Steph was still playing the game even though he wasn't playing the game.
Right.
He was still cheering them on. He was still hype. You know, and some of you hype when you in the game. You hype when you contributing.
Sure.
But when you not contributing, when you not the main man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you good when you could be that main man. But when you are asked to share the spotlight, now all of a sudden you got a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden you not as excited as you were when you were physically in the game.
Right.
You can't cheer nobody else on. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't be nobody else's cheerleader. You can't be nobody else's support. You looking with envy when other people are shining, you not in that role to shine. And that's what stood out to me. Here's a kid that put Golden State on his back, not just on the court, but off the court. You know what I'm saying? And when it's time to celebrate his teammates, my man celebrating his teammates like he the one in there. I mean, he was up the whole time like a coach. He was up cheering, you know, at that, making his little comments, you know, talking to his teammates, you know. So yeah, man, I mad ups to my man Steph Curry for being a model, showing these young kids who want to go to the league, who want to be superstars, you know, mad ups for him showing class act. You know, that not only am I able to be celebrated, but I'm able to celebrate others. Yeah, much respect for that. Much respect for that.
Yeah, no, man, big deal. So I think they got, what, game 3 coming up tonight?
It can't be tonight.
It can't be?
I'm just saying Pistons just playing game 2.
Oh, by the way, man, Pistons.
Don't go there. I know. Don't go there, though. Don't go there.
I watched
we try
the
to
first
keep this
game.
podcast
Hey,
neutral.
I watched the first
Because
game.
I don't want you to get fined by the NBA
Okay, I don't want to get fined
organization.
either. I don't want to get fined
You know what I'm
either.
saying? Van
But
Gundy got
I'ma
the
just
25.
say this. My Pistons did get robbed a little bit, and Van Gundy, how you gonna, hold on. They gonna fine my man $25,000 because he said LeBron get every call.
Right.
First of all, how I'm getting fined for telling the truth? One. Second of all, they asked him after the first quarter in the interview in the heat of the moment. I'm saying don't interview somebody right there. It's not like you got a chance to go to the locker room, take a shower. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. Okay, you come out, you be a little bit more diplomatic. You ask me right in the middle of competition.
Right.
That's like you speaking in the middle of speaking. I come ask you something like, yo, you're not responsible for the answer you get right there. My mind's somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about talking to you. I'm trying to get to, my squad to play at the next level. And so the Pistons did play them tough, but a loss is a loss. And they lost, so I think they play in about an hour and 4 minutes. So we're going to catch the Pistons. Hopefully they can get some damage done tonight. But I do shout out the Pistons right now because they are playing hard. They got some young boys out there, and it's going to be a good learning experience.
They got a new.
I saw a team again. I saw a team again with that first game. So, yeah.
Yep. So, real quick, I want to move into another segment. Carl and I have been talking about this segment. We like to bring segments to the people.
I mean, whatever you want to do.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
This segment is brought to you by the ETA media team.
Okay, all right.
Advancing media one day at a time.
One day at a time.
It's brought to you by Ken. Ken, say hello to the people.
What up, folks?
Ken is back there. It's brought to you by the ETA media team. But this segment is called When Freestyling Goes Wrong.
Wrong.
And so what we actually have for you is, me and Carl talked about it, and he talks about all his messages being from the heart. And they are. There's no disputing that, right?
About it.
Some corner of the
All
heart.
his messages are from the heart. Right. And he doesn't write anything down, which in theory is a great practice.
Right.
But I want to let you know what Carl and I have to deal with when we get something that is from the heart, no doubt.
Right.
But factually incorrect.
Right.
I don't know how to say it any other way.
There's no other way to say it.
Other than to say factually incorrect. So he gets rolling and he's in the zone, and sometimes the actual facts escape him. Now he'll have the premise right, but there may be some details that he missed.
And the confidence.
So I think we might have mentioned it before, but one time he was in the middle of a very heated speech on civil rights
At the Advantage.
at
I
the
ain't
Advantage
forgetting.
program. And he talked about how devastated Rosa Parks was when her husband, Martin Luther
Dr.
King, died.
King.
When Dr. King died.
My bad, Coretta. R.I.P.
Yo, so that was just one example of what happened. But I was going through my phone the other day, and of course, when I'm going through to do the album or the mixtapes,
Right.
I get a bunch of audio, right? And so the audio that I have, I take it and I put it through a system and figure out if it's the right chop or what I want to put out there. And I found one that was right. And so I got, with my producers, and we did a snippet, and I thought this would be a good snippet. You got an album and then you got the full track.
Absolutely.
So it's like 3-4 minutes. But I was like, man, I'll just get this little minute and some change with a nice little beat behind it just to kind of rev the album up midway through or whatever. So I got it all set, ready to go. It's ready to go on the Dr. Thomas album. And something told me right before
You released it.
I put it on the album to go check and make
Let's
sure
check this out.
E.T. was right.
Right.
So I'll play the track for you, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss.
I'm a
So
champion.
here's the lost track.
The lost track.
The lost track.
The lost
Listen to me,
spy.
guys.
And it's called
It's a different
The
mentality.
Greatest.
What I want you to do for me is the way you find that next level is you change your mentality. You get to a point that every single day you're trying to find your best. Every single day you wake up, you never know what the big day is, and so you never take off because you never know what the big day is. What you just saw up there, Muhammad Ali, that was a mentality. So I want to show you, when Muhammad Ali was young, he just bop, 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 he knocking you out. His first title he ever won, he was a young man, 19 years old. He fought against who? Sonny Liston, who was the champion at the time. And there's there's no way this 19-year-old is going to do it. I love Muhammad Ali. He had a different mentality. Watch what Muhammad Ali does. He says to Howard Cosell, not only am I going to win, no, that's cocky. First of all, he says, at 19, I'm going to beat the heavyweight champion of the world. And so he said, what I want to do is, so y'all don't think it's a fluke, I'm going to beat him in 5 rounds. That's next level. At 19, you're going to beat the champion, and then you're telling us what round you're going to do it in, and guess what? He became the youngest heavyweight champion in the world. He knocked out Sonny Liston, and guess what round he did it in? 5th round. He said, I must be the greatest.
All right, so you heard it. He said it was the 5th round. Actually, he beat him in, I guess, the 6th round. He never made it to the 7th round. Liston didn't answer the bell in the 7th round. So he beat him in the 6th round. So I thought about leaving it on there. Like, y'all got to, from my perspective, I was like, yo, that's a high track. I got the beat. I should just leave it on there. But then everybody listening to this podcast, everybody on Periscope, did you know you got the round wrong? I didn't even want to get all of them emails and everything else. So I was like, let's take it off. And I probably would have left it on if he didn't place so much emphasis on it. Because he was like, and guess what round he beat him in?
With the sexy.
The 5th round.
I was like, I was so hyped when I first heard it. And then when I went back, I was like, he threw way too much sauce on that. Like,
Sauce.
He knew for sure.
Sexy.
Oh man, so walk us through what's going through that mind. Like this, the brilliant genius mind. When you had these, you just don't care, or you really think that that's it, or you just kind of lose it, and you like, I'm gonna just.
Are you too far in? You
gotta
roll with it.
I think it's different on each one, but I think the challenge with some,
So there's several.
Yeah, no, it's several. But here's the reality. The reality is there's some where I have gotten the information maybe from a weak source. And I'm like, I'm going with it. Like I feel it, right? But there are other times.
Wikipedia.
Oh, no doubt. Or my Uncle Charles.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He like, don't you remember when Sonny Liston,
Second round.
Sonny Liston got Muhammad Ali told him.
I know, because I was drinking a bowl.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So my uncle told me. So I'm like, that's a credible source to me. My uncle told me that he beat him in it. I wasn't watching it back then with black and white. It was black and white and Sonny Liston. So that's one. But the other one is, like, for real, you have so much like ADHD, bro. You have so many history stories in your mind, so many facts, and you get to rambling, and they all kind of, because Coretta, no disrespect, nobody don't say her name a whole lot. Rosa was, powerful in the movement. Martin was powerful in the movement. So I just combined two great civil rights. What if they would have been, though?
Oh, they kids.
They
kids.
What a wonderful world this would be. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But on a serious tip, though, man, I think it is, like, I hope y'all appreciate what E is able to give y'all from just the top of his head, and his heart. And so I think, E, you say it like, it's not that you don't prepare, you prepare, but you live your life in preparation. Absolutely. And I think that's different than getting ready, you know what I mean? For, like boxers go into training camp for, 4 to 5. A couple months before, a month, 8 weeks before they actually fight. And then boom, they're in prime condition. But one of the things E has taught us, and I would say, us as a whole team, is if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Right. And so can you walk us through that process of when you started? Because we hear about the greats, they say Jay-Z never wrote anything down. He would just rap off the top. Biggie, those guys didn't use phones or pens. They just had it in them. Can you walk us through the process of staying ready as opposed to getting ready?
Yeah, I think for me what happened though, I remember being, at Oakwood, and I remember them having like, a plethora of speakers come in, and address us. Mm-hmm. And you know how it is, man, for real. You're not necessarily being like overly critical, but after every presenter, people kind of talk. Yeah. Like, yo, how you feel about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes be like, oh, how was that speaker? Right. You're like, oh, my man was fire. Oh, my man was straight. He was all right. And I realized people would say they were all right when most people read from a transcript. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you could be like, oh, he was straight. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it was kind of like, cliche is almost like, oh, I could end his sentence for him. But there was a couple dudes that could do it. It was fire. But a lot of the dudes that wrote their stuff down and read it off, you could kind of sense that it didn't have that, authentic, just style flavor to it. But you'd have dudes that would come in and tell stories, right? And people would walk out like, oh, that changed my life. People running up to the altar or whatever. And so I just noticed that when people spoke from the heart, it connected with people in a way that when people read, facts and information off a piece of paper, it didn't really connect with people. So I was like, yo, E, you do that naturally. But being in a university setting, initially I had challenges because I was out of the box at that time. I did have a different style. So while I knew it was relatable, I also knew that in this environment is not necessarily valued. It's not appreciated by the hierarchy, by the professors, and by some of the adults at large. They don't respect because they think of it as oh, you're not prepared.
Right.
You're just rambling.
Right.
So it was a struggle for me because the students loved it. And I had to make up in my mind, who are you talking to? Are you talking to the professors? Are you talking to the administration? Are you talking to the staff? Or are you talking to the students? And once I made up in my mind I'm talking to the students, I would just be like, this is what you need to do. Read as much as you can. You know, get up and pray. Keep your mind right? Because another thing that would happen at the university level when we would travel, people would just be like, y'all know I do y'all like that. See, you ready? Go and give me 5. So I had kind of grew up.
I got the same 5 ready though.
Hey,
these kids ain't heard this yet.
Right, it's a strong
I'm going with the same 5.
You know? So for me, man, I just was like, always be ready because you never know when people are going to call you and when you're going to be needed. And make sure it comes from the heart, because even the best movies, or what do you call those movies? Not just documentaries, but what's the other ones? Like it's almost like based on a true story. You know what I'm saying? People love the based on a true story board, you know, because they feel like I can relate to that. So that's kind of why I did it. See, and it works. I mean, when you go to these conferences and stuff, you see where people are internalizing the message, and more importantly, they'll tell us 6 months later, a year later, like, that changed my life, and I'm still living off of that message you gave, 6-8 months ago, that video.
You got to speak to this for me, though. You've trained your mind almost in a unique way where you absorb information in a crazy way. And I'm telling y'all, working in the company, like literally, we get scared. He go on a trip, he see a new movie, he read a book, he just went on a prayer, anywhere he goes, like literally. He will just pick up one nugget somewhere and it'll be a 3-hour like literal presentation, or we changing directions, or we got to focus on this. You've trained your mind.
And me and Carl looking like we've
here
been with him the whole week.
Yeah, here we go. Like, where you get that from? We watched the same movie.
Yeah, I
like,
think
how
that's
you
one
get
of the
that?
craziest things, Carl, is there's honestly times when he gets up and speaks and it's stuff I never heard.
Yeah, serious.
Like,
After
I'm
10
like,
years.
I've never, we've been with him every day for 10 years and it's stuff I'm like, I never heard that. Like, I never heard him say that.
So talk to us about that, E, in terms of, like, seriously, and then just your ability to just adapt, too, because we'd be having a conversation literally driving to the event, and you will open the event with the exact thing we just talked about. Like, how do you just train your mind to do that?
Yeah, well, I think for me, man, I'm just going to be real simple, but C and I had an opportunity. We went to Hawaii, and we went to Ruth Chris. I had never been there before. And,
Did we?
Yeah.
At least 6 times.
Yeah.
Shout out to our baller friends.
Charles Arrington Jr.
Oh, we went breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We was at Ruth Chris. Me and Candace was looking like, okay, hold on, let's get.
But I'm saying, you
how
heard
much is the steak again? I know I just had it last night.
For real, for those of you listening, you heard what CJ said.
Yeah.
We went back 6 times, and it cost quite a bit of money to go. But we went back 6 times. Why? Because they love the food. They love the experience. And even though they might have ordered something similar every time, it was always fresh. Yeah. And so that I peeped that out when I would go to restaurants. And you go to somebody like, no disrespect, let's just say chains.
Right.
And I'd be like, the food bland. Like, it's the food. It's whack. Like, it's not on the Ruth Chris level. It's not, what I'm saying, on the Joe's. Joe's, they got a Joe's in, DC, they got a Joe's in Vegas, seafood and steak, and so I realized that people love fresh food. You know what I'm saying? People love hot food. People love seasoned food. And most people are so caught up in themselves when they speak that they don't know, they're not really thinking about how does my food taste? Like, I'm giving this to the masses. Is it bland? Is it like that, that buffet that you get that, what I'm saying? It's like, it's all right. Or is it like Ruth Chris? Is it like Joe's? Is it like fresh and hot? So for me, I'm always thinking like, E, people have listened to thousands of hours of your message. You don't want to come in here and you open up your mouth and they repeat everything you said. It's like, E hasn't grown. E said that last year, the year before, and so for me, it's like, E, you got to be fresh. And so what's fresh? The latest album that's hot, the latest movie that's hot, the latest sitcom that's hot, whatever in this era is hot. It's like, E, you gotta stay current. And especially this generation, man, because these kids' attention span is low. You could be a bomb R&B singer, a country singer, a blue, whatever, rhythm and blue. And then 6 months later, they don't even know who you are. So I'm like, E, you gotta keep up. You gotta keep up with the times. So just like the Apple phone, it's an update. Like, E, you gotta keep updating, because if you don't keep updating, you're gonna be obsolete. And the whole, being able to adapt, I think that came from being homeless. because when you're homeless, it's not any stability. There's not this routine schedule, this order. It's kind of like out of chaos comes order. So you're in a very chaotic situation, and every day you're trying to manage that so you can survive. So I think a part of the homelessness kind of spilled over, into my, daily life, and just making sure I adapt when I need to adapt so that we can stay in this game, guys, and continue to be considered, one of the best companies in the world.
So you said Apple just now, man. I thought about this thing. I don't know if y'all did updates on your phone recently. I know Apple sent them out often, but I remember seeing, I don't know if it was a research or someone, they were saying that the bluish light that comes from your phone, it actually does something with your brain where if you're looking at it at night, like it affects your sleep. So if that's the last thing you're looking at before you go to bed, like it's hard to fall. They're saying it's harder to fall asleep when you're looking at that. The last update, Apple has an option where you could change the color on your phone. I was like, wow, so subtle. Like it ain't like it's so subtle. But now your phone has a warmer color. Like you could set the time that you want to go to that color. So now if you're going to bed, you're looking at different colors. So you talk about staying fresh. Apple's staying fresh. They're paying attention to little details. The research saying you ain't sleeping good, whatever. They're like, oh, we could fix that real quick. Next update, boom. So I read that. I was like, that's huge.
Master your craft.
Master it.
Yo, let's transition into another segment we like to call Ask ET. This segment is brought to you by ETA Grind Gear. Grind Gear, redefining the grind one day at a time. Listeners to this podcast can use the promo code Secret to Success to get an extra 20% off at checkout. Go check us out, man. We got I went by the warehouse today. We got some new inventory that's crazy. Honor Thy Craft t-shirts just came out. They are insane. Go get one of those and use the promo code. We're gonna jump right into it. I got some questions, a lot of questions on Twitter. It says, okay, let's see. This guy says, and his name is Frankly Denny. I'm sorry, he didn't have a question. Oh, this guy says, Gary, the numbers guy, what is your birthday? E, care to say your birthday?
Oh, 7-3.
Yep, 7-3.
9.
I was like, what?
I was like, wait a minute.
1738, my bad. I was somewhere else. I was like, do I really say what it is? Yeah, it's 9-3, September 3rd, Virgo, baby, all day.
This guy says, Mr. Ray Photography says, if you feel like you're not comfortable with your craft just yet, is it best to do it free to get my credit up first? That's to CJ. Absolutely. Yeah, you better do it. You need to get your credit up. Yeah. You need to get your reps up. I talked about it, and I might have said it on the podcast before, and I don't care. But I'm going to say it again. When AT&T called me and said, we're thinking about having, did I tell this already on the podcast? I can't remember, y'all, but I'm going to tell it anyway, because y'all need to hear this.
Yeah.
When AT&T called me to do a voiceover, they said they had three different people that they were trying to figure out, who to bring in. So they said, would you like, would Eric Thomas like to do this? And I said, absolutely. So they said, well, it's between him and 2 other candidates. How much do you charge? And I said, we don't charge anything.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait a minute. Now, mind you, E had already been speaking. We were making good money. The company was booming before they called me. Like, this wasn't like we just, was hurting and we was trying to get on. But we had never done any voiceovers. We had never done any major voiceovers. So I knew this was our opportunity to get our foot in the door. So even though E had been speaking all over and doing this thing and people was taking every video and uploading it to other stuff, and it was technically he was doing voiceovers, we had never done voiceover work on that level. So I told AT&T, it's free. And they said, well, what do you mean free? I said, it's absolutely free. So they said, so we just got to pay his flight in his hotel? I said, nope, I'll pay for that too. I said, I just want him to get, they said, well, guess what? Our mind's made up. And we opened, I think it was the 2013 season of the NBA on TNT. Yeah. We opened up that season. And I cannot tell y'all, since that day, how many voiceovers we've done since then. And guess what? They ain't get them free. Yeah. But guess what? When the next person called me and said, hey, we'd love to have Eric Thomas do it, I sent them the TNT one and said, before I charge you, I want you to look at this. Yeah. This is the level we on. Yeah. And we've been charging ever since. Some of you watching the Dick's Sporting Goods commercial running that we got going right now on ESPN, all over the new Dick's commercial, things of that nature. But absolutely, if you have something, a gift, and you want to gain that credibility, absolutely do it for free, document it, and then give it back out to the world.
Yeah, and be real about what's his value. I'm not about to pay $45 for some Captain Crunch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna be real. I like Captain Crunch, but I ain't about to spend $45 on it because the value of it is not $45. You know, so some people gotta be careful. People be coming to me all the time. First of all, you asking me to speak. You asking me to speak on my platform, and then you telling me you're gonna give me a discount of $10,000. I never asked you for it in the first place.
Right.
Why you telling me how much it cost? I never asked you to do it. You asking me to do something for me to be on my platform, and you telling me how much you gonna, no, it don't work like that. So you also need to be careful. Don't overdo it. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the market and be realistic about, I'm looking at a house right now that I cannot buy because my man, he got the house sweet, all the amenities, but he want a certain price for the house. But in that community is not the value. I'm talking about the highest 3 houses on the house ain't nowhere close to what my man is asking for. So you in the wrong neighborhood, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So you might think it's valued at that, but apparently the market don't think it's valued at that because you've had your house been on the market for about 2.5 years and nobody's bought it.
Right.
So it's over the market price. So just be careful with your gift that you're not I'm charging. Who's ever paid you that? Who's ever given that to you? Where'd that number come from? Your mama gave you that number? That number came out your head? Or did you legitimately look at the market and say that this is value at this in the market? I'm not about to pay you $50,000 for your tricked out Escort. You know what I'm saying? 89 Escort with a spoiler kit on it.
Yeah,
I
no
give you
doubt.
$400 right now for it. Cash.
400.
Cash.
Yeah, cash. We got another question from Coach_Alexander on Twitter. He says, as a basketball coach, I grind 10, 11 months out of the year. How do you know when it's time to emphasize rest and spending time with family?
Oh, okay. So when you about to lose them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. When your wife tripping, when your wife, you know, it's like, what's going on? Like, you feel it, see? Like, let me say this to you guys, because we can't give them a number, guys, because people want to know. People love when you do black and white so they don't have to think. You know what I'm saying? Let me put it like this. I've been married for 25 years. I know how much time I need to give my wife every day for us to have an average relationship.
Yeah.
I know how much time I need to give her to have a great relationship. I know that she don't want me on the phone, period, when we together. Don't be on the Facebook, internet, whatever. She don't want nothing. She want my undivided attention. She want me to watch one of her little favorite shows with her. She want me to sit on the bed with her while she's on the computer and act like I'm paying all the attention in the world. I know my son's gonna text me 2-3 times a day. He gonna call me once for prayer on his way for a test. I know my daughter want to talk to me before she go to school, and when she come home, she want to eat dinner together, and that's it. She in her room talking to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you are any kind of human with any kind of common sense, you know how much time is required. I know I can't go a whole week without talking to Carl. We in business. Like, now I might miss 2 days, but by the third day, it's like, what's going on? What's the plan? What we doing here? You know what I'm saying? So anything you do, you know how much time as a coach that you need to give your players in order for them to be good, for them to be great. Yep. You know, so I'm saying use your spidey doggone senses. You know what I'm saying? And be able to evaluate. And when you know that they need that time, don't wait until you get, what's that called? Overdraft. Don't do that. Make the deposits. Make the small deposit daily. And I'm telling you, if you do that, your wife and your family is going to be good. And then when you off season, you go all in. Off season, don't talk about basketball. Don't think about basketball. You go all in with your family.
Yep. And so I'm going to do something different this week. We get a bunch of crazy questions. And so I just kind of like wanted to come up with a fun lightning round for E. I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things here. And I just need you to answer them quick. All right. Cake or ice cream?
Ice cream.
Fruits or vegetables?
Fruit.
Blue or red?
Orange, red.
Pac or Biggie?
Biggie.
That's an
I used
that's
to say
an argument, right?
No.
Oh,
That's an argument. It switched.
But
It
see,
switched.
It
switched.
on my head.
convinced
So, but now Biggie.
Yeah, I used to be LeBron. So you see, the two can't coexist. Magic or bird?
Magic.
Fork or spoon?
Spoon.
Ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
There it is. All right, cool. Lightning round is over. Hey, before we get to the nugget of the day, let me remind you guys that we have a conference coming up in Phoenix, May 14th. Phoenix, Arizona. If you can make it out, it's going to be crazy. We had a conference there a couple of years ago, and it was great, man. We're going to do it bigger and better this time. So the tickets, of course, are available at etinspires.com. You can go get those tickets there. This last segment is brought to you by Ryan, our lovely cameraman over there who's running our Periscope today. Shout out to Ryan and the whole crew for helping us out. But the Periscope is running today. Hope you guys enjoyed it on Periscope. Wanted to give you guys a live look in. Are we gonna put? Oh, you know what I meant to tell you, Carl? Can we put that track, the When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong, and we'll try to keep that When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong. We'll try to keep that segment going as much as we can for you guys, so that you can get a laugh on the inside look of what me and Carl have to go through. But can we put that track on the website?
Oh yeah.
All right, cool. So we're gonna put that track up on the website, The Greatest, the Ali track that we played for you earlier in the podcast. Y'all can download it, have another laugh at it, and check that out. But also, Carl, so we got May 14th, and then do we got anything else? Any other announcements?
Nope, don't forget to just shout out our BU crew that showed
our
that
Breathe
support,
University
man,
crew
in DC.
Oh man, well, Breathe University crew was crazy, of course. Love you guys, man. Breathe University. If you haven't checked it out already, go to breatheuniversity.com. We got packages start as low as $19.99, and you can be in all this fun stuff and do the stuff we do with our crew all the time, man.
And
the brunches, the whole nine.
I forgot, me and Carl was talking today. A lot of people don't know about the audio.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling y'all, it's 10 years we've been rocking with E, and we got audio from, I'm talking about the first season of TGIM. It's all on iTunes.
I wonder if people know, like, what we put out on YouTube and what we put out on the website or any audio or iTunes Carl, 5%?
I'm talking about, like, there's so much content that we
maybe
out.
5% of the stuff we actually put up.
Yeah.
Like, he spoke like 72 times last week.
Seriously.
Like, I don't think we put up, like, literally maybe 5%. And so our Breathe U students get access to, quite a bit more than, everybody else gets access to. So if you're out there, man, you're thinking about joining, stop thinking about it. Jump into a community and a family that's actually making something happen. With that being said, I turn it over to my big brother for ET's Nugget of the Day. Take us home.
Yep, so listen to me, guys, and this might sound harsh, but this is classic ET. Nobody cares about your story until you win. All right? Until you win, nobody was talking about the Golden State Warriors. No, people probably didn't know Golden State Warriors existed. Nobody knew where the stadium was. Nobody knew nothing about that doggone team, right? Until they won. Nobody was talking about the Chicago Bulls back in the day. Like, you didn't know who the Chicago Bulls was. Till Michael Jordan came on the scene, they won 6 championships. You hear me? Nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares about your little story until you become a winner, right? Until you do something significant, until you blow up, right? Until you take your life serious, until you add value to your life, nobody else is gonna take it serious. Are you hearing me? So do me a favor. It might take 100 million tries. It might take 10 billion tries. Like, I'm just throwing out a number. I don't care. But I'm telling you that if you want people to take you serious, you can't stop. Like, right, it might take $100,000 for you to pour into your business. It might take you knocking on 5 million doors before you blow up. I don't know, but I'm telling you, if you're a loser, if you lose, nobody's gonna take you serious, right? KG's life changed when he went to Boston and won that championship. Are you hearing me? He's amongst the great now. So do me a favor, nobody cares. And it's not a negative, but nobody's gonna invest in you more than you invest in yourself. So do me a huge favor, win. And I'm not talking about, it only take one championship. I think Coach Izzo for Michigan State Spartan basketball just made it to the Hall of Fame. He won one championship, and he's considered to be one of the greatest, right? The Buffalo Bills, we don't talk about them. Why? Because they went 4 times, but they never won. Win. I want you to commit the full day into winning, the full week, the full month, the full year. I want you to invest the rest of your life into becoming a winner, because once you get on this side, baby, woo! Let me tell you something. You got to work hard when you're a loser. You get on this side, woo! Man, I just talked to a dude. They about to hook me up. I'm taking my wife to Vegas. They like, we gonna ET, we putting you on the VIP. We gonna give you this, we gonna do this, and can me and my boss sit down and have, the boss of the doggone hotel, can we sit down and have lunch with you? When you get on this side, you get discounts. When you get on this side, people give you stuff for free. When you become a winner, people want to associate with you. People want to, can I open up for you? Can we sponsor your? When you become a winner, it's a whole different world. So if you want to live and experience a different world, come on, come on, come on. Come on the winning side.
And just like that, y'all, we out. Go leave us a review on iTunes. We appreciate y'all listening. Tell a friend about it. See ya.
And your family won't eat. That's my time. I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity